Welcome back to the Code With Me videos. In this section we'll be talking about Activity 3.4, dealing with computer code. So first thing is, if you have the CART-T file pulled up, go ahead and pull up the networking file because that's the one we'll be working with for this activity. You can either click it in the project browser right here if you have the phrase element folder open, or the chapter 3, or if you want, just grab the file right here in the folder and drag it into brackets. That works perfectly well as three, two, one. That is perfectly fine as well. If you open it up in the project Explorer, it'll give you basically the exact same thing. Okay, so I already have it pulled up in a browser. Let's work on this. The first thing is, you will notice that in the page itself, some items have already been added, such as abbreviations. We have cites, we have line breaks, we have p tags, h1 tags, and a bunch of other stuff that hopefully you should be familiar with. But a lot of the context in this page is not very friendly when it comes to search engines or input on the page. So we're going to be working with the computer code and annotations to make it a little easier to work with. So first thing is, we are in brackets, we're going to wrap the ipconfig command in a code tag. Well, where's ipconfig? Well, let's see, the first sentence in the second paragraph. So let's see, first sentence in the second paragraph, ipconfig right here. Okay, so we're going to wrap that inside of a code tag. Well, what does that mean? Well, if we save, again, don't forget this little dot right here needs to go away. So either File and Save, or Command or Control S. Go back to the browser, refresh, and look for this word right here. You notice that it automatically comes pre-designed or pre-styled as a different font than the rest of the page. That is exactly what we want. Okay, because that is what the code tag does. Let's see, the second sentence in note 2 keyboard keys for user input are referenced. We're going to wrap these in a KBD command. So tap the Windows key. In that case, we're going to wrap it KBD for keyboard. KBD. And if brackets automatically closes these tags for you, by all means, you can let it do so. I just don't like that because it makes me a little lazy. Next, we're going to do the letter R key. So KBD, KBD. Okay. We save, we go back to the browser, we refresh, and the Windows key and the R both have the same formatting as the ipconfig. So why use one over the other? Well, the keyboard command tells search engines in different systems that this is input that a person will be putting into your computer, versus the code that means that basically you just have a piece of code to run. Alright, we're not done with the KBD command yet. Read the third sentence and note more user input is referenced. So, down here, type CMD, you're going to wrap that in KBD command, or KBD tag, and tap enter. KBD, KBD. Okay, save and refresh. CMD and enter. Good. Now, as always, because we're good developers, we are saving frequently and checking frequently, because otherwise, if we just did all the updating, we wouldn't know if something worked or not. Okay, next, we are going to mark the user input. Now, you may think, this ipconfig right here and this ipconfig right here, they're the same thing, right? So why do we need to use two different tags for these? Well, one is just a piece of code that someone will look at, or just generically overview when they're looking at guides. In this case, we're telling them that we have a keyboard command for them to put in. Okay. We're good, we save, and ipconfig has changed. Good. Alright, next. The next sentence, mark the computer's output. So locate the line starting with IPv4. Locate the line starting with IPv4. Alright, and this is a computer output, so we're using a SAMP or sample tag. Okay, we save, we refresh, and you notice the IPv4 has the same formatting as the ipconfig, the enter, the Windows key, and this IP config right here. Visually, they look the exact same, but don't forget we're dealing with semantics here. Okay, the next thing is we're using the pre block. In this section, we'll actually modify this right here to make it a little easier to work with. First off, if you see the code, we have the colons right here lined up, with the exception of the first one. It looks a little nice right here, but once you change the font and you change the sizing, well, it looks a lot different, especially since the colons don't line up and the information doesn't look as nice. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to change the P element on line 13 and line 19 to PRE. Down here, PRE. Well, what's the big difference? Well, if we save, we take a look at the browser, we refresh, you can see that, whoa, hello, a lot of things have changed. We have a bit of cleanup to do, but the primary thing is that our items line up and they look basically exactly like the brackets code. But, well, the pre tag takes things quite literally. So all this space right here we have and is translating it straight into the browser. What we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be removing these BR tags and inputting our own manual enters or new lines. So in this case we have 3 BRs. Well, delete those 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We have 3 new lines. Alright, next we have these 2 BRs. Delete those. Enter, enter. Okay, delete this BR. Enter. Delete this BR. Enter. And this BR on line 25. What do we do with that? We just delete it. That's it. Now we go back and save, we refresh, and now you can see basically it looks the exact same because again the pre tag takes things quite literally. Alright, so we go ahead and save everything. We're going to run this through a validator to make sure that it works. Back in here, check, and green box. Good, we are valid. Okay, good. Alright, for the next video, we're actually going to be using these special characters. There's not much we can do for modifications with annotations and editing with this, so hopefully you have a good understanding of that. If not, please let me know and I'll work with you to understand it better. In the next video, we're talking about special characters and Activity 3.5.